Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Topher Smurf, and in today's video we're going through all of the Path of Growth dungeons, breaking down strategies and what your teams should look like. First of all, I need to apologize. I've been on vacay for a week and haven't been uploading, but I am back and I will be pushing out that Summoner's War Chronicles content. Alright, let's get to the video. A note for all of my new players and those that are working their way up to 200k power. One thing to note about the majority of the Path of Growth dungeons is that you're really not going to use the repeat battle function for a while. Not until the majority of you are well above 250, 300k of your combat power are you going to start autoing a lot of these dungeons. If you're autoing dungeons right now, you're probably not getting the most rewards you could be getting out of these dungeons by simply manualing those dungeons at a slightly higher level. Once we all awaken 15, everything, skilled up all of our 5 stars and get a bunch of legendary runes, we might be able to auto the rune dungeons, but for now, expect to manual most of them. Let's start with the Path of Training. It's hard for me to recommend any of these on a regular basis, as the rewards just don't feel enough in comparison to possibly getting legend runes in the Path of Adventure. This is where you will mainly get XP potions, so if you're trying to build new monsters, then spending a couple days here working the bonus dungeons might be okay for you. For all 3 of these dungeons, just bring your golden duo, Shannon, Konamiya, and DPS of your choice. This could be Azalea, this could be Ellen, this could be Lynn, or maybe even that sweet 5-star DPS that you got. Just try not to bring in a disadvantageous element, like don't bring a fire DPS into a water boss battle. For the most part, all of the Path of Training are relatively easy, and you'll actually be able to repeat battle auto level 10 fairly quickly on your way up to 200k. The Subjugation bosses are also pretty easy, and you should have no problem taking out almost all of them at level 10 fairly quickly on your way up to 200k. Just bring in your golden duo of Shannon, Konamiya, and DPS of your choice with element advantage, and you should be able to clear level 10 pretty easily after you've completed the story mode. After you've beaten level 10 of all of these Subjugation dungeons, I really wouldn't be farming these too much. You're going to get some really great weapons just by completing the story, the area adventure quests, and doing dungeons and raids. Now let's look at the Path of Adventure. Most of your farming time will be spent in the Path of Adventure farming for your most valuable progression tool, runes. One thing to note about the majority of the Path of Adventure dungeons, the rune dungeons, is that you're really never going to use the repeat battle function here. If you aren't manualing the highest level dungeon that you can, you're missing out on those legendary rune drops. Once we awaken 15-star everything, skilled up all of our 5 stars, and get a bunch of legendary runes, we might be able to auto these, but for now, just note that you're probably going to be manualing the highest level that you can. You really do not want to be using your dungeon tickets until you can reliably clear level 15. The missed opportunity of good legend rune drops on bonus days is too much to waste these tickets on lower levels. Now, just so you know, level 15 of some of these dungeons are very hard and have been cleared by only a couple people, so you won't be farming the hardest level for a while. On bonus days, you can clear 14 and still get a chance at a legendary rune drop, so focus on farming level 14 for now. I still would caution you to not use your tickets until you can reliably clear level 15. If you want to do your crystal refreshes at level 14, that's totally fine, but honestly, I would save the majority of your tickets for when you can reliably clear level 15 of all of the rune dungeons. Let's take a look at our first dungeon, the Queen's Spider Nest, Arachne. This dungeon can be one of the trickier dungeons as you are farming. It gets exponentially harder as time goes on, so clearing this dungeon quickly is the key. Your primary monsters will be Shannon, Konamiya, or Tion, and Naomi. Naomi is a 4-star, so not everyone will have her, so you can swap in the free unit, Lynn. Another great unit is Helia, if you get her. Her skill 3 applies defense down and brand, so this will help you take down Arachne very fast when paired with another DPS. Another amazing option is the free monster Mav, the Wind Penguin. He is a tanky unit that provokes and heals himself. It will soak up all of the damage while also cleansing the poison that's coming from the enemy mobs. Huge tip, this one comes from Barcode's recent video on this exact topic actually. I was finishing editing this video today and saw Barcode's video pop up on this exact topic, and we had to throw in this tip to make sure everyone saw it. So shout out to Barcode, I will leave a link to his video down below. When you're about to enter a boss room, make sure to switch your weapon type before you enter the dungeon. Every dungeon has an attribute, and you will either get a penalty, no penalty, or a bonus. If you bring in the wrong weapon, you will probably get a penalty. I didn't know this before, but you can actually switch your weapon in the dungeon menu by clicking your summoner portrait and holding down on one of the weapons that you want. Again, shout out to Barcode for his video, I'll link that in the description. When you enter the boss chamber, make sure that you turn off auto and turn on the single target icon. If you're using Shannon, your defense break is very important. Shannon's defense break only works on a single target. So as soon as the boss starts spawning spider mobs, you won't be able to land that defense break anymore. This is why most people run Helia here for consistent defense breaks. You will also need to dodge her AoE jump attacks, as they will easily one-shot most monsters and summoners. I don't spend a lot of time in this dungeon, as guard runes and fatal runes aren't as useful as other sets, but you will definitely want a good guard set for your defense scaling monsters. The boss is not too tricky, as his attack patterns are easily read and dodged. I suggest going in with your golden combo of Konamiya, Shannon, and a free-to-play DPS like Azalea, Ellen, or Lyn. For supports and tanks, Chloe is an excellent healer, and you can save her invincibility for when the boss does their one-shot attacks. Tion is also a great choice for reviving a monster if you get one shot or you accidentally make a mistake. A lot of people have been slotting in their new skilled up Bastet over Shannon. Now, recently, Rigel, the Water Lich, was released, with his second skill able to remove the boss's buffs and at the same time apply attack down and defense down, all while being a water unit. Rigel was made for this boss, so if you get him, you can definitely build him for this dungeon. The strategy for this boss is dodge the slow attacks and keep your team healed up. Talada's dungeon is easily one of the most important dungeons, as it drops Rage and Blade runes, which are vital for building all your DPS monsters and speed teams. You should be able to reliably clear level 14 around power 250. Your free-to-play units of choice here are Chloe, Shannon, and Azalea. One of the things that kills people with this boss is leaving the crit rate and crit damage buffs. You need to strip these as often as possible, or you'll probably get one shot. If you have Sekhmet, then put her over Azalea. I don't have Sekhmet, which is why I pulled for Chiwu. Both of these 5 stars can strip the crit buffs on the boss. If you don't have any of these premium stripper monsters, then you can build the Fire Gore Diane, which is literally made for this boss. These buffs can be completely eliminated with Diane's skill 2. This boss can be cleared with other monsters like Konamiya and Tion, but it will be a little tricky. Another thing to think about is the boss takes more damage when he has a dot applied, like Burn. This is why Azalea is a great choice for this boss. The strategy for Taladas is to try and dodge all the main skills, which are pretty easy to read. Or, if you're running Chloe, keep her on Soul Link and save her skill 3 invincibility buff for when the boss goes for their circle AoE attacks. What you need to watch out for is when his crit buff gets too high. His auto attack will one-shot most monsters, so you want to strip those buffs as often as possible. My team right now is a little pay to win, but it's Chloe, Diane, and Rika. This dungeon is the weakest of the dungeons as far as rune drops go. Not a lot of people are building monsters on focus or assemble runes, so I would stay away from this dungeon for now and use this bonus day to farm the Path of Training or Subjugation dungeons instead. But if you are looking to get some runes, go with Konamiya Shannon and your free 4-star Wind Mystic Witch Cilia as your damage dealer. Just make sure your Cilia is a little on the tanky side so as to not get one-shot by the boss's vacuum cleaner skill. If you're an Oria main, you can probably replace Cilia with Rakaja, who does healing for your team and blocks healing for the boss. In my opinion, Borbo is one of the easiest bosses on the list. From what I've read, it sounds like these rune sets, Foresight and Swift, will be your primary PvP sets. The Brawl Arena is coming out early December, so it would be good to farm this dungeon. Strategy here is don't get hit. Just keep your units on the follow me AI toggle and move out of each attack area. Keep your units healed up when he applies defense down debuff and keep moving away from his attacks. For monsters, start with Konami and Shannon along with DPS of your choice. Theomars or Sekhmet, if you have them, are great units here. For free 4-star units, there's Lyn and Ellen. Bastet is a great unit here as well. Strategy for this boss is to hit him with auto attacks as your skills don't do as much damage to him. Also, his moves are pretty easy to dodge, so stay close by him, set your team to follow mode, and be quick with that trigger finger on the dodge button. Alright, let's take a break and switch over to the Cairos Dungeons. You won't need to farm a lot of these right now because the story and game give you a good amount of essence. It will be more important later in the game when you're trying to max awaken your units, as the essence price increases by a lot. Definitely use up all of your entries and even do a couple crystal refreshes. Each boss is pretty similar, and you will need to bring your god team of Shannon and Konamiya and a DPS of your choice, preferably one that has an element advantage. The free 4-star unit, Lyn, is a great unit here for DPS as she is an absolute boss killer. The only boss that was a little tricky is the Wind boss. Every so often they apply invincibility to themselves, so you'll need to bring something that will reliably remove it or block it to be successful. The Fire Lizard Man, Igmanodon, applies block beneficial effects. If you have Sekhmet or Chiwu, they're also great 5 stars here. Alright guys, that's the main dungeons you'll want to farm every single day. Once you get to consistently clearing level 14 on bonus days, I would start using your tickets, especially during 5-star events like the Bastet and Ifrit events where you can farm skill ups. I will be covering the other dungeons, raids, and expedition dungeons in later videos. I will also be making videos about speed teams for each dungeon. Thank you for watching. If you liked the content and appreciate the video, leave a like. And if you learned something, think about subscribing to the channel. I go live most weekdays, so hit the bell icon to get notified when I go live or post a video. That's all for now. I'm Topher Smurf telling you to keep on gaming.